Hey guys, what's going on? I'm CJ9899 and welcome to a big update on my basement system. Alright, so the reason I have the camera blacked out here is, it's not very obvious I guess, I have done another panel swap. This is probably the longest I have gone without doing one. I'd say, I think it's been about 4 years since I put up the 4010. And in that time, you know, the 4010 was a great panel and all. I had little to no issues with it other than it crashing at one point, but I did have it fixed. And you know, I did some experimenting with it, as you saw with the 2-stage videos and everything. But in that 4-year period or 3-year period since I've done a major overlook of my main system, I have actually made a lot of changes and a lot of improvements. And just recently I decided to do another upgrade with a panel that I think has a lot more capabilities, to a certain extent anyways. And here it is. Alright, so yes, we now have a Simplex 4007 ES panel as the main basin system. I had this programmed by a friend. He got everything that I wanted. I just kind of laid it out how I wanted it set up. Basically a duplicate of the basement system with a few modifications. I'll go over them in a bit. But yeah, no, this panel, if you remember, I did make a video on it probably, oh gosh, probably 4 years ago, I want to say. And at that time, it had the IDNAC power supply in it and everything, but I did make a trade at one point to get the standard IDNet board with 4 conventional NACs, which is honestly the better option in my opinion for a collector. But no, this panel is essentially brand new because I did get it brand new. It's got the LEDs, it's got everything. I made the system normal screen, you know, my own profile picture. It's a little stretched, but you know, whatever. But otherwise, the modules are still the same. I know it looks a little messy. Eventually I plan to bring all the modules down here into this ZAM cabinet, so stay tuned for that. So yes, this system is still 2-stage. The strange thing about Simplex is that their 2-stage functionalities is something you actually have to fully do through custom control. Now with some brands like Edwards and Mircom, in the programming software you have a check mark you can click and it just automatically makes it 2-stage, which if you're unfamiliar, 2-stage is something more often you see in Canada. I think the US, they sometimes use it, and even then it doesn't function quite the same way that it does in Canada. I'm not going to go into the full details of how it works, but a basic overview is that in first stage the bells will ring in a slow rate, usually around 20 beats per minute, like a pulse, for about 5 minutes. And in that 5 minutes, if there's no acknowledgement or anything like that, or if the GA switch, so if we go to one of these pull stations, we have a 2099-9905. If that GA switch is tripped, it will put the bells into a faster rate, which usually on most newer systems it's temporal, but you know, back in the day it could be like pulse and then continuous or march time, but you know, it just depends on the system. But for me, I have it so that any pull station or smoke detector, basically any device, will activate first stage, and if I don't acknowledge the panel or I use the GA switch, it goes into second stage. And it's not fully working how I want it to work yet. We still have to make a couple tweaks, but at least for this system update, you know, it works fine. So anyways, we have the panel smoke up here. Obviously pull stations. So yes, pretty much all the pull stations are these older, essentially 2-stage 425120s, even though, you know, in Canada they were more called 2099s. We have Simplex 2098s. These are the Canadian models. There's not really much of a difference other than the model number, which off the top of my head I don't remember what the other 4 numbers are. But anyways, we got 2 of them, and then an end of line plate, because you know, Canada. Then we have a Simplex 2091-9720 bell here. And then I have actually added, please excuse the BX job, we have a 4904 strobe. I don't remember the exact model number of it, but it doesn't flash very fast actually, but it just flashes. It's not affected by the first and second stage pulse. Out here, obviously, the last few videos you saw this area was ripped open, but we have since fixed it. And when it was ripped open, I took the time to add another smoke here. So in this kind of, I guess, office leisure area, we have another addressable true alarm smoke. I don't know if I've shown this, but I remember at one point I did have a strobe in this office room, but since then I have removed it. I might add something back in here, but for now it's okay. Here's the 4010. We come to here. I've definitely shown this before, but I never really explained that yes, I did add a bell and a strobe plate out here. This is just a 4903 strobe plate with a 2091-9722 bell on it. ULC sticker is a little weird, but whatever. We have one smoke here in the drum area, and then we have another addressable smoke up here in the TV area. And then we come over here. I have actually redone this pull station. It used to have a pipe with a box with a pipe coming down to the pull station, but I've since just redone it, stubbing from the other pull station through the wall into the back of this. Looks much better, obviously. And then in the furnace room, this is one big change I kind of did. I redid the bell here, and I've added another 4903 strobe plate. This one, interestingly, there's no labels on it that say, but this one is native to Canada. I got this from Alberta, I believe. It doesn't have any ULC labels on it, but I don't know if they ever added those for the ones they sold here, but these did exist in Canada, which is nice. And then I added 2 stainless steel simplex end-of-line plates to kind of match the time period this stuff would have been from. Here we have another 2099-9905 with an end-of-line plate, and then we have another 2098 smoke. And then over here, I have actually swapped out the 4606 enunciator, obviously, for a 4602, because I don't actually have a touchscreen remote enunciator for the 4007, but this works just as well. And I actually, you know, I kind of like the buzzer in it a lot more. So, yeah, and then actually, I will show one more device. In the office closet, you're not going to be able to see it. Kind of, well, you might be able to see. Actually, yes. So up there, I've actually added an addressable heat, mostly just for fun. I mean, there's no real reason I need one up there, but I kind of thought, you know what, it'd be nice to kind of have one heat detector at least on the system. And I know, yes, you should have a remote LED indicator, but since it's addressable, you know, it's not that big of a deal, at least for my system. But yes, on a real system, usually you would have a remote LED. So anyways, let's get going with a test. I think I'll just test, actually not this pull station, because you've seen this one go off many times. But yep, so first stage is going to be triggered by any device essentially. And then, you know, with the GA key here, or if I let it go for 5 minutes, which obviously I'm not going to do, but it will go into temporal. So anyways, let's do this pull station in 3, 2, 1. And I just got a text from my phone, and I'll explain that in a second. It's really bright. All right, now let's activate GA. A little awkward. Nope. Let's silence it from the enunciator. And because of the custom control, I pretty much had to set the strobe NAC to visual, which means usually audible silence isn't used in Canada. I've maybe seen it once or twice, but obviously I kind of had no choice, so the strobes are still going after you silence the panel. Let me just shut this up. Anyways, let's everything looks okay. Strobe is still flashing. Let's go ahead and reset. I know the screen's like really bright if I turn off the light. That's still, it's still like really bright. Just gonna have to hold it like that. All right, system reset complete. System is normal. So anyways, yeah, so that has been a test of, let's reset that too. That's been a test of my new 4007 system. I still have to make a few more changes, obviously moving all this down in here, making it look nice. But but that also will come in the future. Also, I did forget to note, one of the big pluses of this panel is now I actually have a signal bypass hotkey, which I guess I can demonstrate quickly. So I go into here, hit signal bypass, and then I guess, you know, default code, and then that would activate the signal bypass, because the 4010 actually didn't have any soft keys. So this is actually very nice. If I want to come down here and do a test and not have to ring the bells, I can just hit that instead of, you know, having to unscrew the wire. And I guess I can show the inside here. It's all redone. So yeah, I got 12 batteries in there. But anyways, so yeah, that has been a test of my 4007 system. Thank you for watching, and I will post probably a few more videos on this once I fix this. But anyways, this is CJ9899 signing off, and we'll see you guys next time. Bye for now.